Matthew at Maddie's in Niagara again. Last one for the day because it's 5:30 something. I'm getting hungry. Been working since this morning. Um, 2003 Ford Expedition here. Customer complaint of was the vibration at lower speeds. Discerned that one pretty quickly. Uh, Basically, and nobody's going to be able to feel this or whatever on camera, but basically the U joint here, which anybody that knows anything about vehicles, we have a tight spot in this baby at one angle here on the drive shaft. I could feel that in the gas pedal going down the road. This vehicle, older gentleman, really nice gentleman that has reached out. Vehicle sits for an extended period of time, and there's a couple of things that I just like to point out. Um, when you don't drive the vehicles and you're not operating them often, you don't get a lot of things moving and working properly. And again, the area that we live in, the Rust Belt, it doesn't take long for a U joint to develop a tight spot up here. This one's been in there for a while. I can tell by the age and the rust on the drive shaft. So we'll be quoting that out. But brings up a good point because when I was working for the dealers, we'd sell used cars quite often. Brakes, real common to sell. I don't know how well you can see that, but the brakes on this, they look pretty damn brand new. Rotors are nice and clean. This vehicle's garage kept. But he's got a case of lot rot. Rotors are probably going to have to be machined. I'll send those rotors down to my friends at Napa probably on Monday or Tuesday next week. Just have them machine them. I don't know who did the brake work. Everything's looking really good. Brakes feel good. Vehicle runs pretty good. But the rotors, man, you go to step on that brake pedal and they are pulsating like crazy. So, again, vehicles are meant to be driven. And when you run into stuff like this, just minor inconvenience, a lot of people get that feel or that pulsation or shake. He had it twofold. There was a shake in the drive line while you were accelerating. You could feel it when you're letting off. It's kind of diminishing a little bit. But definitely U-joint issue and whatever. But my video that I wanted to point out, this is why I hate Fords. One of the other question marks on this vehicle or the complaint was the cruise control. So older Ford, I don't get a lot of data points with the scan tool, but my point was my nice fancy Triton here, go to hook this baby up with the dongle and the DLC, and guess what? I got nothing, no power, no big deal. And this is some information for people out there. You hook your scan tool up, things not powering up. Chances are it's going to be in the PowerPoint, cigarette lighter fuse, whatever. It's all going to be vehicle dependent, vehicle specific. But Fords, man, from day one in my career, time and time again. Here's the junction block cover on the inside, the central junction block. There's a bunch of numbers on there. Ford has never been known for putting names of fuses on there, even if you wanted or knew it was the PowerPoint fuse, or they would have called it the cigarette fuse way back in the day, but they've been getting away from that. Nope, got a bunch of numbers. Fuses 1 through 40 something on here. So guess what? Then you got to start hunting and pecking. Well, if you got the manual for the thing, might be a good starting point. This is where a technician gets frustrated. You go into Identifix, and I go into the power distribution schematics, and just Ford, the way they do things, I have never liked their electrical layout. They've got pages. It's page 1 through frickin' like 30 something here or 40 something. And you basically got to hunt and peck, and you got to find where the DLC is because it's probably not going to pull up on a search. And I found it. But it's way, 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 way down buried here. I think on page number 7. Oh, look, data link connector. So then you can follow the tree, and it's a fuse, 20 amp fuse, number 41 of the central junction block. Well, took me probably 10 minutes scrolling through the damn computer just to locate the fuse to get the scan tool to hook up to find out that, yep, this one's old enough where there isn't, at least in my Snap-on scanner, the Ford scan tool, if I were at a Ford dealer, probably would have a PID or data point. But you'd be able to see what I was looking for is the module that has the cruise control switches, all I can tell you is when I turn off and on, I can see the green light coming on. Cruise control does not engage. There is a physical linkage and a module under the hood that I'll have to start digging into to see if there's power or ground. I'll be able to find on Identifix the actual procedure and wiring breakout of that connector to the module. So it'll be a little more digging than just grabbing the scan tool. But again, back to codes and diagnostics. Just because something's got a code doesn't mean anything. There are no check engine lights or check engine codes in this thing that would be tripping anything, setting the cruise control off. What's nicer about some of the newer vehicles, when you have a nice fancy Triton scan tool or something similar, you can get data points. You can see the data point when you're pressing the switch, if it's coming on and off, and the PCM or the BCM or whatever module's running that thing. You can kind of narrow things down to where you're going. On a lot of the newer Chevys, love it, because you can go in and they'll actually have a data point when cruise control was cut off and what it was cut off for, whether it was unstable RPM or voltage related or the brake. It's real handy, and that's why these scan tools, when you pay big money, they give you a lot of bi-directional capabilities to diagnose something as simple as cruise control, because it's not always simple. But again, back to Fords, just freaking ridiculous. The one thing that I've always loved about GM, and that I am a GM guy through and through, whether it's Identifix or GM specific software, in the dealer, they call it Master Electrical Component List. And this is awesome because I can type in Master Electrical. I can pull up GM's Master Electrical List on the entire vehicle. I can Control F. I can find connectors, splices, grounds. If I know the name of the ground, G101 or connector X, whatever. And it'll give me a nice picture, especially on the newer stuff, where it's located in the vehicle, roundabout. It'll give you a connector pinouts. Fords, absolutely fucking not. You are hunting and pecking, and don't get me wrong, between GM and Ford, they do a really good job at providing the technician with a real detailed schematic, wire colors, numbers, and all that. It's just Fords, you have got to hunt and find what you're looking for. You really got to know how to use the software and get down to it. GM's a little more user-friendly. When it comes to Toyota, Nissan, some of the other ones, man, you got to be a rocket scientist to a point to really read some of those diagrams, especially when it comes to BMW and Volkswagen. It starts to get really hairy because VW and Volkswagen, they have stuff on a wiring diagram that to me just is not as straightforward. They don't call things what normal, that I guess domestic automakers call. The connectors are labeled something different, splices, grounds, all that stuff. So again, it's important to have a good, thorough technician and somebody that preaches diagnostics and does the diagnostics like we do here at Maddie's Auto Repair, because it makes a difference. I'll go end up finding the trouble tree to the cruise control schematics if the gentleman wants to get in and diagnose it further. But I will have to spend probably about an hour of time and getting in and digging through. As far as the scan tool goes, won't be charging them for that, but a simple 20 amp fuse is what it was. It's just finding it, and it's just time. Everybody nowadays, and I'm guilty of it as well, with the internet age, you want things at your fingertips and you want them now. Couldn't even hook the scan tool up. Then I got to waste a little bit of time, but again, it's about doing right by my customer. Would definitely not charge them for something like that. There's other places out there that will, but just some more information, hopefully some good information for people out there that do work on their own stuff, because the vehicles are not getting easier to work on. They're getting more complicated. So make it a great Saturday.